welcome to another episode of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and Friends. Hi, I'm Kevin McLemore. I am your co-host, and I'm joined with some wonderful people that I call friends. Christopher and Gilda James. They are by far, they're the idea of what a real couple looks like, and they're sitting back there in Boston area, waiting, bringing the fall in. Look at the colors. Look at them. Look at them. If that was a hot dog, that would be a hot dog bun, but with ketchup and mustard on there. Look at that. All right. I'm also joined with Miss Lois Campbell, hailing from the East Coast in New York. As a matter of fact, we're all from the East Coast over there, doing some great things in our community, making some changes over here. And our great educator, Miss DL, Miss Denise Lopes. She is taking care of our children, okay? Providing them with an opportunity not only to get a great education, but to be taught by someone that actually cares. My hat goes off to all you teachers out there that's giving back. And I hope that there's a smooth transition from your summertime to school time. And all you kids, I want you to appreciate these teachers and behave. All right. Someone's watching you. And then we have Vanessa Vita coming all the way from Florida. Everyone over here on the East Coast is chilling out over here, wrapping up and trying to stay warm. And she's still baking, getting her suntan on. And she's got those beautiful babies over there. I tell you, for all you single moms out there trying to make it work, we are so proud of you holding it down. But I'm going to tell all you fathers, just because you're not in the house every day, you got to be in that child's life every single day. And without saying, my brother from another mother, Mr. Naheem Garcia, he's got that. But yeah, and let me pull this back a little bit. We've got some people here who's got some beautiful voices on here, and Naheem has one of those beautiful voices. He is by far, I can't turn on cable anymore without seeing Naheem, except for DirecTV and Disney and not getting along. So I'm going to miss a couple episodes of your next film. But he is an actor extraordinaire. He is a activist in his community, and he's a good human being because he loves his mama. All right. You've heard him talking about that. And this show would not be the show if it wasn't for our other co-host, Otis Spencer. He is the voice. James Jones, thank God that he wasn't around when you were auditioning for Star Wars. You'd have been an extra in that show because Otis could have brought it. All right. And that said, I'm Kevin McLemore. So this show was originally created from the more than 300 quotes that I had for the contents of my book. Naheem and some other people around here, we got together and was trying to say, well, you know, what does this quote mean for you? We are curious how it lands on other people. Were there words that just laid on the page, or was there a conversation to be had? We meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone's on camera, everyone brings a quote, and based on our interpretations and perspectives, we talk about that. And so, without any further ado, I'm going to turn this over to the voice of our show that's going to bring the quote today for us. And since Naheem is the bearer, and it's got a little handcuff and little briefcase with a quote in it. We're going to see when he opens the satchel what's in it. All right, Otis, if you don't mind, go ahead, start the show.
Grand Rising, everyone. And our quote is from Sun Tzu, who was a military general, strategist, philosopher, writer during the Eastern Zhao period, which was 771 to 256 BCE. And the quote is, "Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt."
Falling like a thunderbolt from quote from the book Art of War. Naheem, I know you've read a lot of copy these days, but that book, Art of War, is a deep book. How did this quote become attached to you?
Well, I keep the book in the back seat of the car. It's always there. And I looked at this quote and I thought about it, and it made all the sense in the world. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and let your plans be solid. Night means solid, dark is solid and hard and strong and a strong foundation. So let your plans be solid. And when you execute it like a thunderbolt, let it drop. The problem is we don't always know how to follow through. So when you do your plans, you got to follow through with aggression and strength and security. You have to know why you're moving and where you're moving to. As they say in the past, you don't know your future unless you know your past. So it's the same thing with this quote. So when I thought about this quote, I thought, yeah, make sure your plans are solid, make sure your plans are strong, and then execute without prejudice.
Right. Bullseye. You hit it. All right. Right between the eyes. Way to go, Naheem, bringing that quote. All right. Thank you, everyone. Clap, clap. We're standing up, giving it to you. All right, everyone. All right. He is no stranger to a standing ovation. He is not a stranger. But Vanessa Vita sounds like a show name. Look at that. This quote takes you to a whole nother level. And it's amazing from reading the book and understanding where this quote comes from the book Art of War. Um, from an emotional standpoint, because men are not emotional, we've got to learn to be emotional. You guys came out of the womb that way. How does this quote land on you?
Well, it was very impactful and very relatable as well in what my mission is. Let your plans be dark. When I think of darkness, I think of the beginning of time. We started in dark, and be as penetrable as night. I mean, the night is beautiful and it's illuminated by such beautiful stars, all this energy and power out there in this abyss of unknown and so many opportunities. And it's funny because I've always been told that I'm like a dynamite, I'm electrifying. I come from the capital, the lightning capital of the world, Tampa, Florida. So, thunderbolt, I love thunder. Strike hard, be impactful, penetrate, be passionate. No one ignores thunder. You hear it, you see it. Well, you don't see it, but you hear it. And it's impactful. And sometimes it vibrates and leaves an impression. And that's what I got, leaving an impression. We start from darkness, which is a beautiful abyss and all these opportunities. And then you strike and you be impactful to this world and radiate and leave that vibration continuing and continuing because sound just travels. So that's what I thought of it.
You know, Vita, I was worried about when Larnez said that she was not going to be
Mm.
present today on the show. I thought we were going to be absent of the drop the mic moments. All right, you just picked up the mic and let it go, didn't you? All right, fired it
Thank
up,
you.
fired it up. You're welcome. And I hope that people are listening to it when they're thinking about this quote about the uh, plans for being in the dark and then being like a lightning bolt when it falls on you, bullseye again, it hits you again right between the eyes. But I also know that art of war, when it comes to, you know, someone that has served our country, and I'm going to say this every single time we do this, you're much appreciated because without your sacrifices and the many that came before you that sacrifice life, limb for our liberty. I just want to give you much thanks, and my hat goes off to you serving our country and serving a country that probably wasn't ready to serve you. I think it's turning around, but it's turning slowly. It's moving slower than the hands on a clock, but it's turning, and that's what I'm hoping that our people see that we've got to move forward, and look, we can't forget where we came from, but we got to move forward with it and do better by creating a better future. So, Christopher James, how does this quote land on you?
Of all the quotes, I had the hardest time with this one because I always try to uh, remove the militaristic uh, viewpoint that I gained over many years of service. But I'll get around to the quote in a second. But before I do, Vanessa hit on something that is true to my heart, and it's also in the quote, and that's thunder and lightning. Um, I was stationed in Pensacola, Florida, but Florida is, by the way, the lightning capital of the world. I was in the middle of my midlife crisis. I was just turning 30 something, 39 maybe, I don't know. and I bought a Nissan 300ZX with the glass roof. I mean, like it was that was me. That vehicle was me. But what I would do, there's a stretch of beach in Pensacola. I'd park there during lightning storms and just with the glass roof, just lay back and watch the lightning, feel the thunder. And you can feel thunder. You don't necessarily see it, but you can certainly feel the thunder in your chest. I'm sitting there one night, and I guess it was a park ranger drove up with a truck, and he kind of tapped the window, and I, kind of startled. And I told him I was just out there, enjoying the lightning. And he said, "Well, be careful." And I said, "No, no problem." And he drove away. And I knew in my mind that he's thinking, this guy's out in the car by himself. What kind of weird dude is that? But anyway, that's my love of lightning story. As far as the quote, again, trying not to have it become too militaristic, thinking that okay, keep your battle plans secret. I couldn't help but go to um, the way that the military handles its secrets, confidential information. For myself, it's always remembering to lock up after I leave. Don't leave classified documents in the copy machine. Don't make copies unless you absolutely have to. Things like that. Just basically keeping plans secret, keeping plans dark. And as far as the impactfulness of the plans, I always strove to make my plans the most impactful as possible, and at the same time keeping them nowhere near what you'd expect. In other words, I always gave more, or produced more, or planned for more than anyone could expect to have happen, and that's how victory is achieved. But anyway, that's the militaristic viewpoint that I had with that particular quote. Then somebody reminded
It's
me that
pointing to the wife.
if you if you think about it, you were given instructions of this very same matter way before you entered the military, back when you were just a kid. Now, without stealing her thunder, I'll stop right there. But again, she recalibrated my whole thought processes and told me that there was an instance where you're given the same type of information. Keep your plans dark and impenetrable uh, early on in life. So, Kevin, I know you like to select your own, but if it's okay, I like to have Gilda do hers or finish mine because she told me.
You know something as pretty as that picture is that the two of you get in this frame. This is your show too. Hey, I like to sit back and let you guys take over. Matter of fact, next week you can host the whole show.
Oh,
Uh,
don't do
Gilda, he volunteered you. Let's see what you got.
My mother always said, guide me to, my mother always guided me to guard my heart. And now I know important. That's what I have to say. Well, my mother, yeah, that's what I have to say. With this quote, my mother always guided me to guard my heart. And now I know it's important.
That's a beautiful quote to guide your heart for
Yeah,
that. This,
yeah.
this is, yeah, I was worried about this quote with the two of you guys. This is the first time you guys ever showed up on camera that you weren't holding hands, touching each other. Everything okay over there?
we had to move our location. We're no longer filming in the living room. We're down in a different area, so the seats don't quite mesh as they did before.
All right. I was just going to say, if we need some mindset coaching, you know what I do. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and fix the love boat. All right, with that said, that's one of the nice things about this family. We laugh together, we cry together, and sometimes we got so many wonderful minds on here. We do some deep thinking here, and sometimes I walk away and go, "Wow, I had to catch my breath. The show was so great." But one of the things that really matters in here is because, we have so many strong, powerful female figures on here that are deep thinkers, that are conscious thinkers, that are movers and shakers in there. So I am so proud that, us as kings, we're able to stand with, prop up our queens on this show and allow them to take center stage. So, Denise, I won't hold you back anymore because I know you got some deep thoughts on this, but I'm going to let Otis bring up the quote just one more time. Well, he's going to say it a couple more times, but we get set up to hear your interpretation on this. Otis, fire away.
Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night. And when you move, fall like a thunderbolt.
Boom, Denise.
Oh, I love this quote because I go by it. It was hard like to read it as a bilingual person. I'm like, oh, and after I had to like how you say it, break it down.
Bring it
And
down.
that's when I got it, I'm like, okay, that's what it meant. That's why I go by. Because for me, I plan stuff in silence. Like Chris said, I like to plan it at night, like when you're doing the stuff in the dark. Don't let anybody knows what you're doing. And when you come up with your stuff, let your success be loud as thunder. That's how I do it. Anything I do, and especially with my culture, you tell people what you're doing, they mess it up and they jinx it, and somebody goes and do it before you. They've done that to me a million times. So I've learned my lesson the hard way. So now when I'm doing something, especially my book, when I was buying my house, nobody knew I was buying the house until I signed. I signed the day I bought my house. So everybody's like, even my mom, my sister, they didn't know. Only my kids knew. I'm like, again, when I was my book, the day I published my book, that's when people knew my book was coming out. Um, and stuff like that. So I've learned the hard way. Like I've learned to keep my plans to myself, to do everything in the dark, and let your success be loud. Let them see that you can do something. And That's how I work. That's why I've been doing stuff, and that's what I'll keep doing it. And make your plans for your plans to be successful too. You have to work on it every day, and work like if you work a 9 to 5, work on your plans at night. And
Yeah.
that's for me. That's why my best thinking, my creativity comes up when I'm at night. Like at least 2 hours, I'm working on something,
All
and
right.
that's how
So
it ended for me.
all right, that's the way you land on it. You know something, the best secret that you ever tell is the one you tell to yourself. Boom, boom. There you go, Denise. All right. So it's amazing the way that you preface that. You tell people, what you're doing, what you dream. And for somehow they nod their head, they tell you good idea. And then they spend the next 20 minutes telling you shouldn't be doing, you can't do this because of whatever shortcomings or whatever. And sometimes people get talked off of their own dream. So hold it close to you. And then when you get ready, you release it and boom, they don't see you coming. Boom, boom. I'm starting to like this show. A little boom, boom, bang, bang, right between the eyes. All right. Sounds like a lakeside song. Remember that bullseye hit you right between the eyes? There you go. So Lois Campbell. All right. And the nice thing about it, yeah, I'm probably the only person here that doesn't speak any other language and other than hello, you know, because everyone else here is bilingual. Oh, damn, I should have paid more attention in school. All right. Because I know the crossing guard was bilingual, but all I could hear is get your ass across the street.
You can still learn. You can still learn.
I plan to. All right. Lois Campbell, how does this quote land on you?
Like a thunderbolt, like a thunderbolt. This quote is deep, and this quote has some powerful words like dark, impenetrable, because I'm from Jamaica, so it's impenetrable, and like thunderbolt. Those are powerful words. So it took me a minute, and like I said, I never really wrote anything down before, but I kind of had to for this quote. So dark is deep. And when I think of dark, I think of night, and you sleep at night, you get rest at night, and you wake up in the morning rejuvenated and with a greater mindset, and your thoughts are clearer. So we think of night. So is night good or bad? We could use it in personally in both ways, as good or bad, whatever you make of that. So, whatever you're doing, like Denise says, just do it, and you can't let the world know until you're ready. And when you're ready, you just land it on them, and it's like a thunderbolt. So, putting all of this together, it's to get it executed, you really have to, is it show aggression or assertiveness? So both words are powerful, and people may say, no, not aggression, assertive. But sometimes you got to be aggressive, and you just got to make it happen for you and just land it like a thunderbolt. That's
Yeah,
how it
landed like a
landed.
thunderbolt. It's got to
Thanks.
hit you. It's got to hit you. Thank you, Miss
Yeah,
Campbell. Thank you, and
thank
thank you
you.
to everyone. We're going to deliver the quote one more time, and we're going to get the interpretation or perspective on the voice of our show and how it lands on you. Otis, go ahead, fire away.
Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. My thoughts were very close to Denise's. Regardless what your plans are and what you're trying to work on, you have to be careful whom you're working with and who's around you. If you don't keep those plans to yourself, then you're going to run into trouble. But yet, to strike like a thunderbolt, you do need to work as a team, but you have to be able to trust that team because, as I hear another quote, loose lips sink ships. But there's safety in numbers and very powerful. That's my.
Loose lips. I haven't heard that quote since I was a kid. That's my grandmother saying. And normally when I heard that quote, I was in trouble.
I like that.
I was
Yeah, so
That's one of them
I hear,
street phrases. That's one of them street phrases. Loose
yep,
lips.
yep. You're exactly right. So I don't know, all great interpretations from everyone. It's amazing, Naheem, how this show came up. We were just curious on how quotes landed, and look at the life that we've got. There's so many people that are out there doing Sunday motivations, Monday motivations, Tuesday, pick a day of the week motivations with whatever the case may be. But I think we're original of doing what we're doing and talking about these quotes. I've read the book, The Art of War. And for people in business, it was like coming up with a game plan. If you got a product or something that's coming out, you don't let everyone know. You just kind of deliver it, just like that. What was the iPad Mini popped out, even though it was not the best operating system because it was such a big secret. Hundreds of people lined up every single time they presented it out there to buy, to be the first to do it. And everyone else in the business world was trying to figure out how the hell did they do that? Is that, they set up a system which we need to set up in our personal life. How many of us, and I had this conversation with a coworker that ended up sideways of a conversation, is that, the reality, only very few of us ever show up to work every day and actually have a friend to work with. Those are your coworkers. That's how they're listed professionally. And if you think about it, when they come to lay someone off, when they lay someone else off that it doesn't have your name, you feel sorry for them, but you're glad you didn't call your name. Is keep your business to yourself because sometimes people will turn on you and use the conversation that you've had or you shared with them in confidence in order to tear you apart. But in the event, I'm going to turn it to a little bit something more pleasant. Naheem, Otis, Christopher, Gilda, Andrea, all of you guys and Denise have all showed up to audition for a part. And until you got it, you didn't tell anyone because you didn't want to jinx yourself or whatever. All right. That's when the thunderbolt comes up because you know how us little people are. You know, we like to throw shade on someone. Now, he ain't all that. He thinks he's a big time actor. He walk around doing this. Denise, she dresses well. But I've seen her in her dungarees in the gym. Hey, and all that. We do that to people. And the reason why we do that to people is because we look in the mirror and we don't see what we want to see. But when we look at people like Otis, Vanessa, Denise, Lois, Gilda, and Christopher, we look at people that we admire, that we would be like, because we're all professional risk takers. We all step up every single day and we do something that most people will be afraid to do. Every single day we do this grind or whatever. And then the Lord rewards us for our efforts. Do this in the silence of the night, rehearse, read your script, set up your plan, and keep it to yourself. And then when you're ready, when it's already done, boom, drop the mic on them like that. All right. So when I look at this quote, I tell you, value the relationships that pour back into you. Don't value those relationships that try to get your cup to leak. Value those relationships that hold you up just because. Don't value those relationships that are holding you up because they need to step up themselves. So when you talk about the thunderbolt, don't be afraid to scream your name, Naheem, out loud. Don't be afraid to walk out there, mother to, Vanessa Vita, to say, I'm proud to be who I am. Denise, you fight that fight when there's an injustice based on, what you believe education should be, and turn against those people and turn them around when they look at the color of your skin and they feel a certain type of way, but they're not listening to you. You let them thunder and lightning all day long. And Lois Campbell, with that beautiful Jamaican accent, when you start to speak your words, make that the number one hit that's ever hit the radio, and you make everyone sing it. All right, Christopher, Gilda. There's not enough words to explain the power the two of you guys have. Love does conquer all. And if you guys not an example of the power that everyone else should have, as we live in turmoil, we live in a negative space. Look at what love has brought you. Ketchup and mustard all day long. All right. And we have to count our blessings because when God gives a voice to a man or a woman that makes you sit there and listen, it sounds like a lullaby some mornings and it sounds like a fresh cup of coffee to get your day started. And you can't wait to hear that sound again. All right. Sometimes thunder doesn't always have to shake up the room. Sometimes thunder just has to make you feel warm and comfortable. So in the darkest of night, hate to use this as a man to say impenetrable during the course of the night, but let you be moved by every conversation that you've heard on this show today. Let your Sunday motivations be the difference that Monday will make, what Tuesday will come about, and why you exist for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And yeah, I didn't forget Wednesday. I did that on purpose. Wednesday they say hump day. All right. Every day that God gives you a second chance is hump day. That's the reason why some people, when they look at a mountain, they don't say it's a mountain to climb, it's just another hill. All right. So with that said, that's my take on it. I may have been a little bit didactic and went a little too far, but from all of the interpretations, you guys got me caught up in the moment. I got emotional and I'm a man. All right. I appreciate that. Naheem, I love you, man. You're such a deep thinker. I don't know how anyone stays ahead of you, but I'm glad that I'm on that
Easily.
Naheem that Naheem train. And for those of you that have tuned in, I do hope you enjoy the show because we meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you enjoy the show, like I think you should, go to our YouTube page, RMK Production and Network, and subscribe and follow. We're the only platform out there that allows you, as long as you bring a positive mindset, you can be a guest on this show too. We have a seat open for you. All right. So with that said, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank everyone for giving this time this Sunday. I want to thank my family that professionally, you're my co-host for showing up. Naheem, Vita, Vanessa, Denise, Lois, Gilda, and James. Hopefully, I said all that right. And Mr. Otis, I want to thank all of you guys for supporting this dream, every single dream. You guys are my thunder. You guys are my thunder. And my grandfather always said, "Oh my gosh, I love it. I miss my grandfather. I'll tell you, Joseph Philip, I love you. You poured so much into me, and I'm carrying on conversation lessons you taught me." He says, when you get to the point in your life that you can help someone else out, he says it's your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said,
Fade to black.
and we're out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey, one of the
Yeah.
reasons why, after hearing everything, one of the reasons why I went with that quote is because it keep it simple too. It's one of those quotes that's self-explanatory, but it's very simple because when you think, like I said, dark is solid, so you want to make sure your plan's solid. But I did forget the main part, which is discretion. One of the reasons I went with that quote is because lately everybody's always had, hey, what's next? What's going on? Yeah, I'm doing this audition, I'm doing that, and you know what? And I haven't nailed it because sometimes people like to hate, and
Right,
people's energies are always trying to hate. People constantly looking, even though even some of your friends, they're very happy to see you doing stuff, but they're really hating when they're constantly digging. And then the idea about coming out and when you reveal yourself like a thunderbolt, fall hard. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's kind of nice when somebody, you didn't tell me you was in this movie. I've been hearing that lately. You didn't tell me you was in this, and it's nice to see the shock that you didn't. I'm not going around boasting what I'm doing. I'm just doing the work because I need to do the work, and I love to do the work. And I'm not doing the work so I can walk around here with 15 bodyguards and can't talk to nobody, and I'm all that, and I want one ice cube in my soda instead of two, and that other nonsense. You know, because I'm going back to what I used to do, not tell people anything that I'm doing. Everybody's always asking all the time, and I get to the point now. It's like, what you got going on? I got going on everything and nothing all at the same time. Oh, nothing new coming out. Whatever's coming out will come out when it comes out. No one tells me anything. I know when it's gonna come out, but I don't want to tell anybody anything because there's always haters. And then not only that, some people don't always get a chance to achieve a lot, and they live vicariously through you. And sometimes while they live vicariously through you, they also casting spells.
right,
They also want to, they don't want to see you succeed so they can have something to say. And they can come in there and be your rescuer and all that
right.
other nonsense. And that to me is an intention of a maldizago, we like to say in Spanish, a bad deal. And
Thank you.
so, yeah. No, porque ya tú sabes cómo es. And sometimes, I've had a lot of hating, and not with you all, but it's just I'm gotten to a point where I want to cocoon a little bit, and the only time you see me is when I'm butterflying. Other than that, because it's just too much. People constantly taking from your energy, pulling from you, seeking from you, or making assumptions about your success in their own way, or want to give you advice on what they think you need to do with your life and your career because they know and they're nowhere near it. I got a friend of mine just started getting in the business. Now he want to tell me what an actor does, and he want to tell me all these things because he's learning and he's listening to other people when he was already told. But like all things in life, you will learn your lesson and you will learn to be in your place. That's the other thing about the quote. The quote tells you to be in your place because you can't execute no thunder if you're not in your place.
Mm-hmm.
I know because Christopher and I talked earlier about this quote because I know originally came up the art of war was like it was strategic planning, military planning. It's like if we are going to destroy a country, get someone or whatever the case may be, we had to keep it within a circle of people that we knew that we trusted. And then when it happened, it made the 6 o'clock news. It says, bam, we just did this, we just did that, and so forth. And it's the same way with, with all of us do. We all are chasing a dream that's bigger than the life we have. We're all trying to escape the burden of working on someone else's dream and allow our dream to be at the forefront of every conversation in life. But we do have those people that are in our life that will suck the living energy out of you. And sometimes we allow it to be sucked because we hand them the straw. So, you know, when you ask, what are you up to, Naheem? All right, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever, you know. They don't know that it's been 6 months since you got a paycheck or whatever the case may be. You know, it's just like I had someone coming up the other day and says, you know, you've been doing this podcast for X amount of time. How much money have you made? And it took me all of God's grace to say none of your effing business. All
Or
right.
how about this? They don't, not how much money I made. Ask me how much money I done spent. Because
Yeah.
people don't understand that this thing here costs you money.
Yeah.
And you have to have
Yeah.
a certain amount of viewers in order to get some kind of break. This is why we're constantly inviting people to come to the show, not just to look at it, but to participate, because this is a platform that allows the community to have a moment, a moment to exchange, a moment to vibe, a moment to talk about things that you don't get to talk about. We have different platforms out there that people are creating so people can have a moment to express. Call it therapeutic, call it a moment to hear yourself, whatever it is. It's a platform. This platform is successful if people get involved. This platform is successful if people tune in. So this man doesn't have to keep spending a bunch of money to give you an opportunity to come on and say what you need to say in a safe environment. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
So while people asking how much money you making, ask them, ask me how much money I done spent.
Exactly right. And Vanessa, I just want to tell you, even though the show's over, we keep recording. The backside of you worked out well.
He took that boy.
Seriously, you saw my backside?
We saw it other day. We saw it all day. It was our
I
great
am
one,
so sorry. I got to get ready for church because my car's in the shop. So my mom has to take
All
me.
right.
The boys have catechism class. So we got to get there because
All
Go
right.
I
I
praise the
just,
Lord
I
and get those
just,
cataclysms in check.
yeah,
sorry, I did not.
I
How
just
did you
wanted to
see my
tell you.
backside? I put it on the bed. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you do know when you put it on the bed, the camera's still on. When you walk in front of it, that's how we see it.
Well, it's like a bathing suit, okay?
You gotta have a little action in the show. Little entertainment. Yo, I'm gonna watch. Did you watch
Totally
this
did not
episode?
know
You gotta
that.
watch it to the
Well, I
end.
guess
You
you
gotta
guys
watch it to
know a
the
little bit
end.
more about me now, and I'm glad you're family because
They're
you
like,
saw my backside.
I'm just glad you
You
had
guys are
pants
too
on.
much. You guys are too much.
they're
Seriously.
gonna say, yo, did you see Vanessa Vida? You gotta wait to the end of the show, man. Vanessa Vida, yo, what's the show? I didn't
All
get
right.
that
Ay,
one. I
Dios
said, oh,
mío,
there
that's
I go,
hilarious. But I want to say real quick because I do need to, part. I learned a lot, and I love that loose lips because I'm a loose lip chick, and I don't like to say I sink ship, even though I've been told I am a mermaid, and what do mermaids do? They would sink
Sink
ships.
ships.
So that's sort of funny how that correlation like goes there. But I've been learning because, like Naeem said, especially in our culture, man, I have a lot of people that take away my energy, take
Mhm.
away my thunder. And it's because I'm too loose lipped. So I sink my own freaking ships.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
the other
And
day I
I'm
woke.
learning, and I've learned, like Denise says, she had to learn the hard way. Believe me, girl, I'm with you. I've
Well,
learned the
take
hard way. So
take
I've
this
learned.
away. Take this
It's
away
been a
with
lesson.
you. The other day I woke up. I
Definitely.
don't know how many people saw the quote that I wrote, but it resonated a couple of days. Is that, you know, the most painful act that you're going to ever have is never having your story told. So it's as long as we are still working on the happy ending, the dramatic ending, or whatever the case may be, just continue. If I can say anything or anything to everyone on here, continue to write your story every single day. Continue to write your story. No matter how much someone else wants to edit it, you be the captain of your ship. Write your own story.
Right.
All
How
right. With
about
that said, Lois is going to bring the quote next week. So, you know, I don't know what your plans are, but your plans have just changed. We'll see you next week.
bring a
Get the,
highly Selassie quote.
yeah.
I select? Yes,
Bring a
yes,
highly Selassie quote.
yes,
Here it
yes.
is.
Jamaican
Why
Can't
always.
wait
not?
to share my quote because I know you guys base it on books. And whenever I'm, given the honor to do that, I'm gonna do Tikanton
Chicken
to it.
Tom? Yes.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Lois
Impactful.
we might need
Impactful.
to
That
do a
changed my
switch.
life.
Okay.
What
We
what
might
is
have to do
that?
a switch, Kev.
Chicken Tom.
Huh?
We might
What
have to
is
do
it?
a switch.
Well, I'll get the quote
Also,
to you. Um, I don't because there's so many in that book, but I mean, there's a couple. He has a couple. Um, so I will get. I have to pick my favorite of his because he has so many. He has so many. He's amazing. I would love to meet him because he is
all right,
still alive,
all
right?
right. Go do what you need to do so we don't
Yeah,
lose you. I have a
yeah.
question. In November's coming up, and there's going to be an election. I I was just curious if it had not been for a female now being a candidate, all this noise that we hear, would it be as loud as we're hearing it right now? And it's only coming from one source. This quote even talks about this. You know,
I honestly, if I can really go real quick, because my cousin works for her. She worked for Biden. She works for her now. She actually was the youngest person in Florida to run for Congress. She's a Latin
why
Arabic.
don't you introduce me to her so I can have her on my show?
Yeah, her name is Sabrina Busbar. She was second runner up. But that young girl told me when we were in the stands when she was in band at Clearwater High School, I want to be the first Latin Arabic female president. And
Mm,
she is on the path. And I'm so proud of her. She came up second runner up. And I'm like, girl, that was a win.
Yeah.
That was a win.
right.
And you're on the right path. So, yes, I will introduce you to her, Kevin. So, I got to go, y'all.
Nice.
All right,
All
go
But
right.
ahead.
thank you so
Take
much. I
care,
took so
Vanessa.
much out of
Nice.
this, and I'm so glad to
Yeah.
be back.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh,
Thank
here.
you.
Right.
So,
The
Bye.
little one wants to
Thank
say
you.
bye.
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 All right.
Bye.
You're so
All
cute.
right. Just bye. Let's
Bye.
go.
Kevin, what's the name of the book again? The Naheem, what was the book?
Act of war.
Oh, the
Act of
act of
War.
war.
Yeah,
Art.
I
art
think
of act of war.
I may
Yeah.
have a couple of copies. I know I got one important copy. I may have some more. I don't know. I used to have the little books and everything. So, but yeah, you could go on YouTube and hear the book for
Yes.
free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Denise, that book doesn't take any prisoners.
No.
It does not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And the quote, as far as the art of war, is about as basic as uh, point the pointy end towards the bad guy. I mean, like
Right.
you don't disclose your plans, and
Mm-mm.
Right.
when conducted properly, your plans should hit like a thunderbolt. But yeah, I mean, like I was trying very hard not to be militaristic, but that particular quote is just as basic as point the pointy end towards the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
there's quotes galore. He's got quotes galore, and it's just never enough because it's always something. And I didn't, I was looking at a bunch of them. That one was simple, but it was right where my state of mind was. Oh, Chris, I sent you a message,
Okay,
and you should read it and let me know when's a good time to give you a holler.
okay,
Okay.
Um,
Hey,
and
and just to let you know, I'm still working on the screenplay. I'm trying to get one book out of the way. I shared the deal and Son of a Gangster with the family here, Naheem. So I just want to let you know that we're gonna
Son
have
of
to
a
do that,
gangster.
Naheem. We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to put it
I get
together,
some
get a
that
group of people, and make it happen because there's work for all of us in there.
under $2 million we could do it.
All right. Well, if we
It'll
can
be
put
it'll
together.
be independent. That's an independent deal, and that also will require us to have some solid moments, and it can be done. I mean, my partner may say different because she's into raising $20 million for a movie, but I think to get things rolling right now, at least get things as far as the script is tight, making sure we think about locations, making sure that we know how to make some of the simplest stuff. How do we deal with some of the explosions and stuff like those kind of things? They may have to be, I've been watching a lot of the Spanish movies. They do not go into, they don't dive into sexual situations. They don't show you things being exploded. If something happens, you hear it, and then you see an end result. So there's ways to go about it where we might be able to cut, but we'll get there. We still have to get to your script, getting to cast it, and think
Yeah.
about what you know
If
what
we can find someone, I'm not a professional screenwriter. I'm a great storyteller. We can get a director on board. We can get someone to come up with a budget. I can find the money.
Well, you got Infinite and Larnez got a good start, especially Infinite. But we have, there are people. There are people. They don't necessarily have to come out of Boston. We got folks because you need somebody you have access to and you can connect to on a regular basis. If you, with your playwriting, especially, I mean, your screenwriting, especially if you're gonna hand it over to somebody, you want to have access to them. You don't
Yeah.
want them across the country for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I,
that's why
I
I
got
thought Dave,
rehearsal.
yeah,
Yeah, Dave is clean. Dave is
yeah,
clean. There's a few others. I got a rehearsal in an hour. I'll let y'all know the show's going up on the 21st of September. It's called Crown of Times. It's about black women in hair, and I'm
where's it gonna be
artistic.
at?
It's going to be at BC College at their theater, that theater down there. I'll have a
Yeah.
flyer out when the time comes. I'm just an artistic consultant, but we got rehearsal in an hour, and I'm gonna get some breakfast. Kevin, I'm
All
gonna
right.
call you later on and
I'll
fill
try to
you in
come
on the
up.
show.
I'll try to come up.
Before
I'll let
before
y'all know. Huh?
before you came, I didn't get the message.
I sent it in the text, the chat here, but
Okay,
that's all right. Just call me later on in a couple hours.
okay,
I just need to run something. Actually, when you're done here, because I gotta go, but when you're done here, give me a quick call and I'll tell you what I need.
will
All
do.
right. All right, no problem.
I just need Big Brother for a second. That's all.
All right,
Sure.
go ahead. All right,
No,
talk to you
that's
guys
all.
later.
That's all. Otis,
Yeah.
talk to you later.
All righty,
Lois,
be good.
Denise, girls, you know
Oh.
I'm okay.